Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the WWE Hell in a Cell pre-show review. It's your boy JoshAgeddon with the Colonist.
You know it.
And yes, I know it's.
Here we are, second of four.
I know that it's SummerSlam, but it so felt like Hell in a Cell build-up.
But you know what? With 24 hours of digesting it, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. This was still probably the best pay-per-view WWE's had this year.
That's kind of sad.
Even with all of that.
With all of the nonsense that happened on this show. There were so many DQs, so many squashes, and if there's a big echo, I apologize. I'm filming in a different place than I usually do because I've recently moved to college, and dorm rooms are kind of echoey.
It's actually in a legitimate box. It's in a legitimate glass box.
Yes.
And it's just him and the laptop.
And my microphone.
And sound back and forth.
Also, I'm sick, so I may or may not be as enthusiastic as I normally am.
It's the perfect time to review TakeOver at SummerSlam.
Do you want to do both?
I think we could touch on TakeOver. I don't see why not. I think TakeOver's worth talking about.
Oh yeah, TakeOver was fantastic.
It's spectacular.
It was just absolutely blew away SummerSlam. Shocking, I know. He's never done that before.
Well, we don't have to go through it, so why don't we just do a couple questions about it? Like, what was your favorite match of the night?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Ricochet. Probably Ricochet and Adam Cole, just because of that moonsault super kick. That was so awesome.
You know what I really appreciated? But now, normally, I'm not a huge fan of flippy shit being the backbone of your in-ring work. But Ricochet did a really good job this time of showing that that's not the only thing he can do. This was a lot more psychologically sound about him doing all the flips, and then he got all his shit in after that too. So I do have a newfound respect for Ricochet after that match. It was very well done.
Yeah, and if they tried to do that moonsault super kick a million more times, they'd never be able to get it that good again.
No, that was perfect timing.
It was
so good. I wonder
if... It even made Ricochet's neck snap back. That's how good it was.
Yeah, that was rough. I was actually a little concerned because it was all of the selling at TakeOver was great.
Yeah.
The tag match was better, but I've got an irrational annoyance with the name Mustache Mountain.
Tell me all about it.
I don't know why, but it irks me. And I like Tyler Bate and I like Trent Seven, but for some reason that name just bothers me. And it's not like I said, it's irrational. There's no reason for me to hate it, but I just hate it.
Speaking of things disliked about having anything to do with that tag team, hang on, I'm echoing a little bit. All right, okay. I will say that one thing that got on my nerves a little bit about the tag team match was that during the match, the heels were doing the babyface finisher kickouts, and then they just did one move and pinned the babyfaces. And I was like, all right. I mean, it was a good match. It was just kind of strange.
That match made me really concerned for both Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly when they get to main roster, because they're so good now. They look just like dudes.
Yeah.
They're just they just look like regular guys, and it's not their fault because they're tremendous workers. But I fear in Vince's character-driven machine, do they have a place that doesn't end up with them just six-manning with Goldust later on?
Oh God, that's actually disgusting.
You know what I'm saying? It's and I don't want that to happen to them because I think they're really special talent. It's just
jobbing out to the B
team. See them as larger-than-life characters.
Jobbing out to the B team.
Look at the revival.
Oh God.
God damn it.
But yeah, take. And the Kairi Sane Shayna Baszler match was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Fantastic.
I thought it was going to be good, but I wasn't expecting that good. And the finish was fantastic.
And honestly, the build-up to that match was great too. I thought that was the best told. I mean, obviously, Champion Gargano's on another level, but like the actual lead up to that feud from the Mae Young all the way last year to now, I love when they can full circle stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my only disappointment in this match was probably Dreaming EC3. That was the only show, like, but here's the reason. It's not that it was a bad match. Actually,
it did feel a little off.
The problem is, you know why? Because neither of those guys really could have afforded to lose that match. They booked themselves in the corner with EC3 coming back and then just doing nothing.
Yeah.
And Dream, I mean, his character's good enough, like solid. His character works solid enough where he could take a loss and be fine, because he's been doing that and it's been working for him, obviously, because he's still on every show.
Yeah.
So Dream winning, I feel like that really did hurt EC3 more than neither of those guys could have taken that loss. But they made the best of it, I think.
They tried, but while watching the match, it felt like something was kind of off. I don't know if it was just me, but they just didn't really seem to mesh all that well.
Also, I didn't really think the build up to that story was that good either.
EC3 gave him
EC3's like,
he gave him the 1%er into a pool. That was hilarious.
I was like, what is this, 80?
It was
like,
it was stupid, but it was funny.
It was weird. It was. I mean, they had a good match. I'm not saying that it was a bad match, and even so, that match is probably one of the top 8 matches of the weekend.
The Sister Abigail DDT thing that Velveteen Dream does, when he did that to him on the floor, that was sick. That was sick. I popped for that.
Cool. That was cool. He's it's kind of cool to see Velveteen Dream improve with every match.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like he's really trying to expand his repertoire, like the same set of moves that they always ask you to do.
Yeah. And I like the finish too, the Purple Rainmaker on the apron.
I really don't. Yeah. My thing is, like, he's another one I fear for on the main roster who easily could be tag teaming with Goldust.
Then
I don't think that gimmick's gonna translate.
Vince is gonna take one look at that guy and he's gonna be like, "Do I want this FAG as champion?"
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on NXT right now that I fear for their main roster success.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're not good enough. That's not a question.
Oh, it's not the wrestler's fault. If there's one thing this weekend proved, it is never the wrestler's fault. It is always the people running the show's fault. But speaking of which, let's dig into SummerSlam, and we're going to go match by match. I don't think either of us watched the pre-show.
And we have to mention some of the segments as well.
Yeah.
Because I have some comments on some of these segments.
I'm not going to lie. I like the Elias thing. I skipped. I did not care. Although I hear his computer broke. I mean, not his computer. His guitar broke. Which is...
It was actually... We'll get to it.
Well, first match was... Well, and again, like, I don't think either of us watched the kickoff show. I don't think anyone did. Did you watch it?
There weren't even people in attendance. It was like half full. So seriously, like the stands were like half full. And that's sad, considering that Rusev and, there was the Rusev and Almas match, and barely anybody was there, and nobody saw it.
Do you remember, I can't remember if it was like Survivor Series a few years ago or what, when The Miz was in a match on a kickoff show and there was barely anyone there and he got so pissed off. That was hilarious.
Oh god, that was...
I can't remember what show that was.
I forget. That had to have been probably 2015, I'd imagine.
But the first match of the night was...
Since 2016, Miz has been a pre-show guy.
Yeah. But yeah, the first match was arguably the best match on the show. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. This match was awesome.
Fantastic. I loved it. Ziggler and Rollins have definitely, when they're not forced to carry a tired audience who doesn't care, they really know how to shine. This got the crowd white hot. It was fantastic. It was kind of weird the whole Ambrose and McIntyre thing, because it's like it was really just them staring each other down most of the match. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, because they allowed Seth and Dolph to do their thing. that suplex combo, those inverted suplex combo. Holy God.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Although I was listening to someone was reviewing the show on their own show, and they were like, "Who exactly was that supposed to hurt?" And people had to explain to him, the float through suplex Falcon Arrow move that he does. It's like that except reversed, kind of. But it was absolutely just sick. And the satellite DDT on the apron was also insane.
That was nice.
Yeah. And it was just great.
They had a great pace, and it was very well done. And Ziggler really doesn't deserve half the shit he gets. He's the guy who's been booked to oblivion.
Mm-hmm. And I like the finish where...
was really funny, though?
What were you saying?
Is at the beginning, when Dolph made his entrance, first of all, why did Dolph make his entrance first? And then Drew was just way more important, the whole time, Ziggler.
Poor Ziggler. Even when he wins, he loses.
And then he lost.
Yeah. But the finish where he was going to go for the super kick, but Seth cut him off with his own super kick, I really like that. And yeah, I don't...
Yeah, that was nice.
The only thing I don't like about this match is it has to do with Dean Ambrose. I hate his finisher. The Dirty Deeds, just a snap, butterfly DDT. That's not interesting.
It was really sloppy when he did it on Sunday. It just didn't look good at all.
It hasn't looked good since 2016 when he stopped doing. Remember when he used to kick into it? He doesn't do that anymore, and the move just looks.
Yes, I do remember that.
It just looks weak now.
That was just it's not spectacular.
Even when he switched to that double underhook DDT, I was like, oh man, I like the headlock driver, but at least he kicked to it. But now he doesn't anymore, and I'm like, it's just boring. It's good to see him back though. Although his hair is really weird. He was very, very muscular. He was a big boy.
Yeah, he's much more jacked than he used to be.
He must have been taking some lessons from Brock Lesnar from 2016.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the Intercontinental title match?
No, I think it was nice. It was a great opener. I think it deserved to open the show. And it was a nice rebound from
Extreme Rules. Oh God, that match was awful. This is what it should have been. That's just fans being assholes. That is true.
It's
that is true.
That's all it ever is, man.
Speaking of assholes, this next match, the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers for the tag titles. Why do you put a championship match on a pay-per-view just to have a random, no-reason disqualification that doesn't feed into anything? They do this all the time. Hello?
The match was... I thought no, I'm still here. The match was going well. I enjoyed the match, and, I like the idea of the DQ with the whole, now we're nervous because we've got someone who's our equal, but they've already beaten the New Day before.
Yeah.
They've already beaten half of the SmackDown Tag Division, and we know that they're not going to be the next challengers for it.
And they do this all the time.
If this were a situation where you knew this was going to build a feud, which it very well could, because it was told decently well. God, I hate them. Those hammers.
Those mallets are the dumbest. I hate their team name. I hate their outfits. Although they're weird goat horn things. I thought those were hilarious but effective. I like those. But
no, I liked their outfits. But any other weapon you put in that situation, steel chair, hell, a kendo stick, something that gets over better than two full mallets that are not actual 40-pound hammers. Come on.
Those giant mallets are so dumb.
Any other weapon, that angle gets over 10 times better than these stupid hammers.
This match was so good, and then they just ruined it. I hate it when they do that.
It was kind of...
Yeah,
it's... And again, I still don't think it was... Again, the whole night was, great matches, mad finishers.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling you that as you were watching it. It's because it's like every match had beautiful spots and like was clean and they did a great job, and then the finishes were just odd.
Yeah. Sean had the fortune of watching the show an hour before I did because I for some reason I always mistime these shows. I thought it was at 8 o'clock, but then it was at 7. So I'm like, oh great, I'm an hour behind. So while I was watching the show, I was commenting on it, and Sean just kept texting me, "Oh, just wait. Oh, just wait." Over and over. Just wait. Just wait. And I'm just like, Sean, you're really stressing me out here. I'm really stressed. I'm gonna down a couple of Mountain Dews so I can calm down.
No, but it was something, and it was ridiculous stuff.
But I hate disqualifications. Like we'll get to it later. The AJ Styles Samoa Joe match. We'll get to that. But for the most part, they do this all the time on almost every wrestling show, and I'm sick of it. Can we have one WWE show that does not have any disqualifications or countouts on it? Please.
Yeah, that's a tough order. I mean, that's a takeover type of thing, but like even WrestleMania they do that, and then it's kind of frustrating.
No, at WrestleMania they get random 10-year-old kids.
Don't remind me about that. I had a conniption the other day because I just was reminded about that as I was reviewing the Braun Owens match, and I thought, well, but good, that's next. I'm glad that we're talking about it.
Oh yeah, up next was probably the most useless match on the show.
All right, it's Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman, and the whole premise of this match was whoever Braun could get anything happen, like he could get disqualified or counted out or pinned or submitted, and he loses Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
This match lasted what?
5 seconds.
9 seconds.
Yeah, like they have all these.
Owens came out, Braun just dominated. Gave Owens some super nasty bump.
That choke slam on the ramp was disgusting.
Dude, Owens, I think, had to get staples in his head because he was bleeding from the back of his head pretty hard.
I think that they called it. I think the reason why it was a squash, I don't think that was supposed to be the end of the match. They may have called it early. Because that was bad.
I think so.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
And while Braun Strowman was celebrating, you could see referees running to the ring like really fast. I was like, ooh. Like, he bounced him like a basketball.
Yeah, no, that was rough.
Yeah.
And the real sad thing is that it really does bury Owens, and I'm just like, why do that to like the best talker you've got, or one of them? You know, it's I don't know.
This entire feud.
Fans, but like this entire feud has been just a burial of Kevin Owens, and I just don't get it.
This feud has been so much ass, just unadulterated ass. It's been burying both guys. At the last pay-per-view, Braun Strowman purposefully lost a match. And I'm like, you idiot.
So stupid.
This company is retarded.
I think that's actually the match that just made me turn off.
yeah. You just stopped watching after that. And I was you were just like, I'm done. I was like, oh god, what happened? And then the cage match happened. And I was just like, oh, I completely understand. And I was like, that. But Sean, remember, wins and losses don't matter.
They sure don't, buddy.
They sure don't. Hey, it looked cool. I lost, but it looked cool. God, this feud is so. And when he threw him, when Kevin tried to hide from him in that porta-john, and Braun Strowman just pulled him throughout the arena just to dump him off the stage. Like, this entire feud has sucked.
I hope this feud is mercifully over.
Please. Because it is, and I hate Braun Strowman, but it has done nothing for either of these guys. Because Kevin Owens has just been demolished, and Braun Strowman looks like a moron.
What? Strowman has never looked the same since winning with that goddamn 10-year-old kid. I'm serious, though.
That damn kid.
Well, look at how he's been booked since. He lost the titles because a kid has to go to school.
This company's so stupid. Oh, God. He's a cartoon character. He's not a wrestler. He's a cartoon character. But yeah, like, this was just a disaster. Just... Although, I'm not gonna lie, I wish that they booked Braun like this last year when everyone was just salivating over Strowman, and I just didn't, for the life of me, understand it. I'm kind of in a roundabout way, I'm kind of getting what I asked for. And we're back, having some technical issues because Skype is the best thing ever.
I heart Skype.
Hashtag I heart Skype.
I heart Skype. Now trending on Twitter, #1. I heart Skype.
Why is the #1 trend on Twitter right now seem so sarcastic?
I don't even use Twitter. Like, I just start trends. I don't tweet. I start trends.
Tomorrow Skype's just gonna lose like a bunch of its a bunch of users are just stop using it. Like its stock's gonna go down. What did the Colonist do this time? He buried Skype on Josh's podcast. But yeah,
dude, that was actually what just started a snowball effect. You never know. You never know what's gonna go viral these days.
But yeah, Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens sucked. It was awful.
So then we moved on to the SmackDown Women's Championship match.
I thought this match was going to suck as well, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I thought Carmella was going to win, and I'm not disappointed she didn't. I just think that the crowd really, really wanted Becky to win that match.
And they're sick of Charlotte.
And that heel turn was a babyface turn. It's a heel turn.
It's a triangle, no, it's a rhombus. It's like that SpongeBob joke. We're not talking about this. We're talking about this.
You know what the worst part is, though? It's like, I hate when Charlotte wins with natural selection. It just doesn't look like it hurts.
And when she does,
I hated that as the Hell in a Cell finish too.
That one was just because it was out of nowhere and not in a good way.
I think she should stick to that figure 8 and just have that be it.
Yeah.
Rick didn't ever have a separate finisher that you just did, it was just figure 4.
No, he had the figure 4 and he had a lot of money. That's it.
Yeah, and low blows and the usual cheating stuff.
Yeah,
but
he had the ropes.
I don't know. It's just like.
But yeah, I thought this match was not going to be very good. But turns out when you have 2 competent workers and someone who can be carried, you can have a good match. Who knew?
I mean, to be fair, Carmella held her own.
Yeah.
I mean, in this match, she could have been much worse than she was. I think that she does elevate her game when she's in the ring with 2 much more experienced wrestlers.
This was the best match of her entire title reign.
And you could see her trying. You really could see her trying to do. And I will never knock anyone who's trying hard.
She did Trish Stratus's Stratosphere, which is like the weird flipping Hurricane Rana thing from the top rope.
Yeah.
And it actually looked pretty decent. I'm just glad she did a move that wasn't that super kick, for once.
Can we just side just here for quick? A lot of people were talking about Trish Stratus and Alexa Bliss facing each other.
Yeah.
As opposed for Evolution, as opposed to like Trish Stratus and Charlotte.
Yeah.
The same person. But you know what I thought about is like Trish and Charlotte are really similar.
Yeah.
Because they both come from gymnastics backgrounds. They're both like the bleach blondes that got pushed very well in an era where they had not a whole lot of people. And a lot of their moves are very similar.
Well, Charlotte hasn't had the lesbian feud yet, but maybe that's this one. Maybe that's with Becky Lynch now.
I have expected Sasha Banks and Bayley to kiss at some point during their
God. I love you. Why?
So if we see Charlotte and Becky at Dr. Shelby's, I'm gonna be a little
I think he's a Raw exclusive.
But in any event, Charlotte won. She's now a 7-time champion, which is
irritating.
Too early to be a 7-time champion.
It's irritating. I think that's one of the reasons why she got booed, was because people are just sick of her. Like, really.
And What's annoying is that I really liked the Sasha Banks Charlotte feud back and forth in 2016, but I hated how much the title switched hands.
Yeah, hot potato.
Yeah, it didn't do it for me. And they're like, oh, it's building prestige. Not really.
No. Holding a title and retaining it, that builds prestige with good matches, not every other match and there's a new champion.
Yeah, and if it really did build the prestige of the belt, where's Sasha Banks on this pay-per-view?
Somewhere backstage with Dr. Shelby and Bailey having some kind of weird threesome.
She's eating hot wings on Sean Evans' Hot Ones. Which she actually did, by the way. And there is an episode of that you can watch on Hot Ones from First We Feast.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that before.
Hers is not the funny episode. Go and watch some of the funny episodes. But she's on it. So is Jericho. Jericho's is great.
I saw Jericho's too. He was hilarious. He's in character all the time, and that's why Jericho's the best.
I love Chris Jericho.
He's the best.
So good.
He is always in character.
Anyway, so this match was great. The heel turn / face turn / heel turn was also great.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show that really the SmackDown Women's division is really, when it comes to work rate, so much better than the Raw Women's tag.
Although, speaking of that, you know who was missing from this pay-per-view that's just kind of sad? There was not even a mention of Asuka on this show, I don't think.
I honestly think she's recovering from injury, and then they're going to probably book her back as a surprise heel turn. And I don't know if that's the right move. I don't know. We'll see.
But we'll see. I actually really like this match. I like this match. And even though you don't like natural selection, I like the way they fed into it. Like, Becky had Carmella in the disarm her, and her back was like leaning backwards towards the other side of the ring. Charlotte was right there, and I was like, she's gonna hit natural selection, that's gonna be it. And she did it, and I was like, yay, I got it. I've watched wrestling for a while, I know what's happening.
You know, that's kind of a funny thing, is the match predicted finish and pop for the fact that you got it right.
Yeah.
That is the most, like, smarmy thing. It's like, that's so being a mark for yourself. And I say this because I've done this, and I am...
I still do. But part of the pop was that Carmella isn't champion anymore.
That's probably why I liked Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross so much. Because I predicted, like, 30 seconds before the finish, I was like, this is the finish. I was like, yes! And the match was good, but I thought it was, like, spectacular, mostly because I just guessed
it. There's some novelty in knowing what's happening. Being just as smart as the bookers. It's a smart slide.
The hard smart slide. Alright, so...
Up next was arguably another match of the night, maybe match of the weekend contender. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
It's in my top 3.
This should tell you, I love this match even though it ended in disqualification. That's how good this match was.
Well, that was a disqualification where you know that they were really trying to build up the heat and the feud, and now makes Hell in a Cell actually seem like a big-time fight.
Yeah, AJ didn't grab a mallet and hit Joe with it for no reason.
I mean, AJ going ballistic on Joe was great. I mean,
and the blood, too. The blood, too, made it work even better.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, you could tell that, like, AJ and Joe have spent the past 13 years wrestling each other, because it was so smooth. That power slam was fantastic.
That power slam. That was the greatest power slam I've ever seen.
It reminded me of 05 Samoa Joe. A lot of this match reminded me of 05 Samoa Joe, including the TNA chants.
That was awesome. Like, I hate TNA mostly, but like, and even though it's mostly dead right now, it's GFW. But when the crowd was chanting TNA, I was almost in tears.
No longer GFW. It is not GFW anymore.
They switched it again.
No, because Jarrett left, and now Jarrett's got the GFW tape library that was inducted to the Hall of Fame this year. It was tape library.
So now this company's just floating around like an amoeba?
It's Impact Wrestling, and it's actually gotten much better. Seriously, I'm not even kidding you. The last few months have actually been really good programming on Impact's behalf.
I wonder how the people who run that show felt about the fans at SummerSlam chanting TNA. I wonder how that made them feel.
Fucking free promotion.
Free promotion!
I mean, how good they feel. Great.
I mean,
Somebody remembers our names.
I mean, hey, if someone promoted me at the Hell in a Cell pre-show, I would be happy too.
Seriously, I'm sure Don Callis is smoking a fat ass cigar.
But yeah, like
somewhere Sammy Callahan's headbutting a concrete wall.
yeah, I think he's gonna do that regardless.
No, that wasn't related. That's just he's just doing that.
That's his gimmick. He's a deeply disturbed man. But yeah, this match was fantastic.
This match was great.
But like, I give a slight edge to Rollins and Ziggler because it actually had an actual finish. But even then, this is how you do a disqualification. You don't hit someone with a toy. You have to have it feed into the story. If it feeds into the story and you don't do it all the time, which I will say I will say that if they didn't have the New Day Bludgeon Brothers disqualification earlier in the show, it would have made this mean more. But instead, we have two disqualifications.
I guess you can make that argument. Sure, that's fair.
But now we have two disqualifications on the same show, and it's just like when you a year from now when we look back, we're gonna be like, there was a lot of screwy finishes on that SummerSlam.
You know, I mean, I think that AJ and Joe, even so, is like, I always kind of try to view matches on like replayability.
Yeah.
Like, how often would you like to go back? I would rewatch that AJ Joe match multiple times. That match was incredibly well put together.
Let me tell you this: the AJ Styles, yeah, the AJ and Joe match was almost exactly the same length as the Miz and Daniel Bryan match. My complaint about the Miz Daniel Bryan match was I felt that it was going on forever, and I just wanted the match to end. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, I didn't want it to end. I messaged you. I want to see a 45-minute match between these two. That should tell you something.
It was much better pacing. It
Yes.
was much better pacing.
Yes.
And it was, again...
And you have two great workers instead of one.
Experience. Yeah, that's 13 years of fighting each other everywhere.
And, like, the insecurity that AJ got that I think may have busted him open when Joe was teasing going for the Muscle Buster, that was the most beautiful insecurity. And AJ Styles is the best bumper in WWE right now.
You know what I really appreciate about this match? Samoa Joe never got the Muscle Buster. And AJ didn't use the phenomenal... Like, it wasn't finisher heavy.
He did use the Styles Clash, which made me pop, because I was like, oh my god, AJ. I thought your back was screwed up.
I'm glad you mentioned that, though, because that really... I was thinking about this earlier. AJ, you know, he obviously didn't get all of that Styles Clash, because he didn't get a full leg around the other arm, right?
Yeah.
I almost wonder if mid-match they decided to incorporate that into the story, because later, when Joe had the Coquina clutch on, he couldn't wrap the leg fully around AJ, because he was fighting out of it, so he couldn't lock his all the way through. And I didn't know whether that was intentional or not, but it was a really good addition to it.
Yeah, and even the commentators pointed it out, which I thought was great, even though the commentary on the show was absolutely atrocious. What was it was during this match that AJ Styles was doing his signature leg kicks, and someone said like he's hitting him in the calf bone, and Corey was just like,
"Oh,
the calf is a muscle, not a bone." I heard that, and I was like, "Oh, this is why I love Corey Graves."
Sometimes I feel bad for Corey because he's got to put up with so much shit on both rosters too.
Oh my god, I would hate my life if I was Corey Graves. I've got to go back and forth between two different shows, and they're the same exact level of awful on the commentary. There's no one competent except me.
You know, I do like the back and forth between Byron and Corey sometimes.
Byron
plays a good straight man.
Yeah, Byron's role as the absolute loser, who's like the TV PG loser. and Corey just destroying him every chance he gets. That's such a great little thing they have.
It is a dynamic. I've come to appreciate Byron a little bit more because of just how much Corey shits on him.
Do you remember? I don't remember how long ago it was, but like Byron Saxton had the line when he was like, they were like something like, "We don't like you at this commentary table," and Byron responded, "Well, I disagree. You guys are like my family." And Corey was just done. I almost peed myself laughing. That was... And the way Byron said that, his delivery was just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with just a perfect hint of, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I have to anyway, because I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
No, it was fun. But this match was certainly one of the best of the weekend. I put it in my top 3 matches of this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It really was tremendous.
It was fantastic.
And, well done, and I'm very excited to see their Hell in a Cell match.
Oh my God, yes.
Very,
oh my God, yes.
very excited. But please,
And
can you guys both not wear blue? Like, someone wear a different color.
They're brothers, man. They're brothers. They'll both wear red. And someone noticed on Twitter that, like, while Joe was wrestling, like, his trunk started getting pulled down. And someone was like, well, is he losing weight or something? And I was like, no, he's probably getting a boner from talking about how he wanted to be AJ Styles' wife's daddy. his pants aren't...
Just got the visual.
His pants aren't shrinking, they're extending. This video is getting demonetized.
Yeah, like you were really gonna get money off this video.
Yeah, that's true.
50, oh, sorry that you were robbed of the 46 cents that you were gonna get.
Seriously though, my last paycheck from YouTube was like 16 cents, and I just started laughing because.
Hey, got 16 cents.
Yeah. But up next, people are gonna get mad at me about this, but The Miz versus Daniel Bryan in a singles match. I do not.
Before you get into this, there is this. I want to talk about this Elias segment real quick.
Okay, you can talk about it because I skipped it.
It's the funniest thing. Elias goes out, he starts to shit on the audience, and right before he starts to play, the guitar breaks. And then the audience is just going, "You fucked up! You fucked up!" He's sitting there, he stands up, and then he just actually like drops the F-bomb and just throws the guitar and like kicks over his speaker and walks out. And the whole thing lasts maybe 3 minutes. And then I was just sitting there like, what? Was that supposed to happen? Like, was it?
Did Bobby Lashley get a hold of his guitar?
Well, like I would have thought maybe like on the back of the guitar was like Lashley's name or something on it, but like no, there was nothing. It was just him breaking the guitar and leaving angrily, and it was just I was confused. I was like, what is if WWE's goal for this pay-per-view, as far as segments go, was to confuse the audience? They did a great job of that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Like Kevin Owens getting squashed in 1 minute. But yeah.
Then we have
Miz and Daniel Bryan. This was a very good match. Although I felt like
I'm surprised this match got as much time as it did.
I do think it got a couple of years too long. But that's just because I don't care about this feud at all, because I don't care about The Miz. I like Daniel Bryan. I don't love Bryan. But I do not care at all about The Miz. He's just so boring to me.
I mean, my whole thing with The Miz is he's fine when he's got a good guy to work with. And Bryan's obviously a great worker. The two have a chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
In the ring. I mean, they had some really fun moments in this match.
Yeah.
But there were also a lot of moments just kind of like sitting on your hands and you're like, all right, can we just get to those high spots? So like,
there was a really odd botched bulldog near the beginning of the match that would just look super weird. It was so weird.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I was like, who fucked up there?
Like, it's like both of them just dropped at the same time. Like, never mind.
I mean, good on Bryan for going for a cover, but I was just so confused. I was like, what the hell was that?
That's the weirdest Daniel Bryan botch I've ever seen.
I think that also got people in a weird too. The people were definitely like for the yes, but also like part of my problem is that there's both of these guys' main styles is striking, or in this case, taking Daniel Bryan's strikes. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're watching the same moves from both guys.
Although I will say that I loved it when Miz was doing Bryan's moves, but Bryan was no-selling it, and then he started doing it the way it's supposed to be done. That was great. That was great. Now,
there were some really good points in this match. It was a good match, and I'm glad that you got the time to tell the story. My concern now, after watching that match, was like, okay, how many cell matches are we getting? Because like now you have like 4 or 5 feuds that could be put in the cell.
Yeah.
And what do you have the whole pay-per-view be cell matches? No.
I hope not. We're not gonna have WWE lockdown.
You know, it's just like I don't know. It's just weird because like now, how do you choose like 3 matches, which I still think is too many.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna choose 3 matches, like what 3 do you choose now? Because you've got Joe and AJ. If you really wanted to put a tag match in, you'd have Bludgers. I'd hope for Charlotte and Becky. You also have this match.
You could put Finn Balor and Baron Corbin in Hell in a Cell. I mean,
you could put Lesnar Reigns in Hell in a Cell for the rematch.
Yeah, I love that.
Which, funnily enough, I think we were talking about, I forget when, that this could happen, and that we get this Lesnar Reigns in a Cell. So I don't know. It's weird because now you got a whole bunch of different matches, and how do you pick?
Yeah.
But all in all, I liked the finish too.
Yeah.
Obviously, because this feud was not going to end yesterday.
Again, this SummerSlam was a B show.
It was a setup show. For sure.
Has there ever been a setup SummerSlam before?
Not where like every match was meant to do that. Like I was expecting at least a couple blow-ups here, and I think other than Owens being buried and Balor being like, "Hey, I can put paint on my body again." That's
hey guys.
You know.
And Ronda destroying Alexa Bliss, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, I mean, and speaking of which, I almost forgot. After I think Rollins and Ziggler, they cut to backstage, and Brie and Nikki were on the screen, and I just messaged you, "Why the hell are the Bellas on my screen right now?" And I was super pissed about it. Oh God!
Divas plug. That was all that was.
The most ironically most WWE thing to do ever. Can you imagine if they promote Total Divas at the Evolution pay-per-view?
They're planning to do Ronda, Nikki, Bella as the main event.
Oh my God! Why?
I mean, what do you think? Total Divas, man.
I will
trade a company with a bunch of different shows on the E Network.
Remember this whole Divas Evolution thing? Yeah. About that. But I will
stand for evolution.
Oh yeah. But Miz and Bryan was very good. I like the finish, but I think it went way too long, and I don't care about this feud at all.
I think this was also the last really good match of the night.
Yeah. But up next was the Demon. Finn Balor. Not Finn Balor, just not weird LGBT PC Balor, but Demon Balor versus the Constable Corbin.
I was happy to see the Demon.
Yeah, and I was happy to see...
because it's nice not to see regular Finn Balor.
Yes.
I don't like regular Finn Balor. I can handle Demon Balor, but I do not like regular Finn Balor.
I like regular Finn Balor, I just don't like weird LGBT PC Balor. Because it's so transparent and fake.
My favorite thing about this match was Corbin saying, "This isn't what I signed up for. This wasn't part of the deal."
And you know one good thing about Demon Balor that's over regular Finn Balor? Demon Balor doesn't smile the entire time.
Or talk.
That's one thing. That's one thing about Finn Balor that I don't like. He smiles way too much. Like he has the biggest, dumbest smile on his face 24/7. But yeah, although it was funny when Jonathan Coachman was like, "He's so effective. Why doesn't he do this more often?" And I was like, "Wait a."
You got me, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks.
Your guess is as good as ours.
He's a demon. He's just not a very smart demon. But
I mean, it was honestly, I didn't even mind this squash. I like Corbin, and of course, but this Constable thing just isn't doing it for me. So
I just hate it when people wrestle in like business clothes. Like I hated it when Corporate Kane did it, and now Constable Corbin doing it.
Dresses better than Corporate Kane, though.
That is true.
Corbin I'm okay with Corbin dressing up with the vests more than I liked watching a shirtless tuxedo pants Corporate Kane.
Hey, he's a mayor now. Watch what you say. He's a mayor now.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying he was shirtless and had tuxedo pants on.
And it was weird.
That's all.
And it was weird.
It was just a weird time for him. It's
Does
okay.
Speaking of that, does that mean that Baron Corbin's eventually going to get elected to like some government office in the future? Because I'd vote for him.
He might wear a mask intermittently.
I'd vote for it just for the comedy of it. But up next was the point in the show where it was clear that the show was going on for too long. Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship. It was.
God bless these two.
They tried. They tried very hard, but
this crowd was tired.
Well, they've been watching a 15-hour-long show, so.
Yeah. This crowd was just wiped. And it wasn't their fault. They really did try hard. I actually liked the match too.
Yeah, me too. There was a spinning apron kick on the outside that Nakamura did, and it was the coolest kick. That I was just like that. He just was like it was like a weird 619. It was beautiful.
Loved Jeff mocking Nakamura.
Jeff.
That was really funny.
And Jeff's the perfect person to do that because Jeff's entrance. He shakes around like that. It works for him.
He's the same amount of out there that Nakamura is, where he can totally make fun of him and not make it look cheesy.
Yeah, because it fits with him so perfectly.
I mean, for the love of God, he's wearing this like luminescent green contact lens,
and he has eye tattoo. He has eye paintings on his eyelids. So you're like, please open your eyes. That looks so weird. And then he opens his eye. And I'm like, no, go back. It looks even weirder. Jeff is so out there. That was nuts.
And you know what's funny? You can tell that WWE fans, they really do care, because instead of everybody being like, "Oh, that was nuts," everyone's like, "Jeff, stop it."
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, like when he got on the
genuinely concerned.
like he started backing up, and everyone was like, "No, Jeff, don't."
You proved yourself 10 years ago. Okay?
You were not as resilient. You were not. You just broke your leg. Like.
I appreciate you wanting to do a spot like that, but Jeff, think of your family.
Simmer down just a little bit. Think of your family, Jeff. Think of your family.
It really does show that WWE fans do care, because there was like just such an outpouring of like, please God.
I want Jeff and Nakamura to have a rematch just so Jeff can try this again, except Jim Ross just runs down the aisle screaming, "Don't do it, Jeff! You have a family!" And just knocks him off the apron. My God!
And Nakamura actually, winning with a decisive Kinshasa, a good move.
Yeah.
That I think if Nakamura's going to be holding down the mid-card on SmackDown, then he's got to get that win.
I'm glad to see him as champion.
No, me too. And then, in what was the second confusing segment of the night, Randy Orton music comes out. He walks down to the bottom of the ramp. He shuffles his hands around a little bit. Says, "I just earned a paycheck." Turns around, and heads home.
This wasn't even this wasn't a run-in. This was a cameo.
This was literally just like, "Hey, I'm here. All right."
It's like, okay, so this is SummerSlam is now a Marvel movie, and I am Stan Lee. Where's my paycheck?
Now, I understand that Randy Orton is currently investigating that whole thing with the WWE writer. You've heard about that, I'm sure.
Yes. Apparently, he showed his dick to someone.
No, he would like go to hang out with a new writer or like meet a new writer, and right before he met the writer, he'd stick his hands down his pants and then like ask the guy to shave.
Why, Randy?
And then he'd be like, "Oh, you're not shaking my hand, or you're not trying to play ball?" And then you go like tell Vince about the new writer, just teasing shit that if you don't deal with that, you don't belong in the wrestling business type of stuff.
I heard a rumor. I had a rumor that like someone actually shook his hand or slapped his dick or something. And I'm just like, what is wrong with these people?
That's the wacky world of pro wrestling.
He was the Viper slithering around backstage with his cock in his hand.
So he's being investigated.
Yeah.
By this, and lately, Orton and Co have been kind of making like small like jokes about it because he's being under investigation, quote unquote.
Yeah, Randy.
Really give a shit.
Randy.
Really gives gives a shit.
Randy, it's not the early 2000s anymore. You might want to stop doing that.
Well, and I thought what would have really made that segment gold is if that became a new character trait for him, where he walked down to like Jeff Hardy, not like stuck his hand down his pants, but just said shake.
Just shake my hand, Jeff.
Just that made a gimmick.
Please.
And then like would shake me like, wait, we'll shake my hand, and then he gets super offended, and then everyone just furious with people just refusing to shake his hand.
And then he just starts RKOing them.
Tight that nobody wants to shake his hand, and he's like, I'm just trying to be a good guy here.
I'm being a gentleman.
Long time. I just want to shake hands and just bring peace to people. That's all I'm after. And everyone being like, nah, dude,
we know where that hand's been.
I know where that hand's been.
He would be like Shawn Michaels back in 2006 when
that would be such a character later.
You remember when Shawn was super kicking people down that hallway? Do you remember when Shawn was super kicking people down that hallway because like he was like, I'm not controversial, bull crap. Except it's Randy Orton and no one will shake his hand. He just goes down the hallway trying to shake people's hands. They say no and he gives them an RKO and moves on down the hall.
It's about this. You don't understand the kind of club I've got. It's great.
Oh god, I love Randy so much. That's hilarious.
I swear, that would have turned that whole segment into something hilarious. That would have gotten Smarks talking apart. Of course, they can't do that because it's a trading company and blah blah blah. But you know what? Without even referencing it, that would have been hysterical. Like without even referencing the hand in the paint.
Oh god. We need to move on, or we're going to be talking about Randy Orton with his hands in his pants for the rest of the review. Oh.
That's not the direction we're trying to take.
But up next was one of my... Honestly, this is one of my favorite things on the show. Ronda Rousey destroying Alexa Bliss. I very much enjoyed this.
There are two things I hated about this match, and neither of which was the match itself. Number one, Rousey, shut the fuck up.
She was screaming spots at the top of her lungs like, you ready? You ready?
She was screaming spots, number one, and number two, she was way overselling the story. You were ready for your new Raw Women's Champion? Uh-huh. Well, here it comes. See? Ready?
Here we go! Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see a new champion.
I attribute that purely to inexperience, and
Yes.
she'll learn.
Yes.
But it wasn't a bad thing. You know, it just exposed how green she is still.
Yeah.
But she will learn that. It's forgivable. It was just like,
I thought it was funny. It was cringy, but it was funny. At least to me.
Exactly. It was funny and cringy. And,
Yeah.
And Coach acknowledging that was also very annoying.
Jonathan, Coach, I get it. You used to be on I get it. You used to be on ESPN, but you don't have to mention everything that happens. Just.
Yeah, that was.
Also, calves are muscles, not bones. But my favorite thing in the entire match was when Ronda Rousey was like doing the weird Buddhist pose, taunting Alexa, and Alexa came and got her in a rear chin lock. And the look on Rousey's face as she just stood up and was like, "You done? You done?" I loved that. I loved that.
Yeah, it was funny. Why did her makeup make her look like Hawk Girl?
That was one thing I didn't like about this match. What was she wearing on her face?
I don't get that. But you know what would have been really great is if while she was sitting in that Zen pose, Aleister Black just showed up in the Zen pose as well.
Just everything.
Just left.
Just everything goes black. The lights come back on. Aleister Black is just sitting there. Then everything blacks out again, and then it comes back on, and he's just gone.
He's gone.
If I ran WWE, that's what I would have done.
You know what? Because that would have been the perfect teaser.
Yeah.
For him debuting on the main roster. Just a little taste, little something. You know, get the Smarks talking. There we go. Got a little bit of taste of that. Continue your match.
He's just sitting there, and he points at Ronda. That's my pose, and then leaves.
That would have been great.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing Brooklyn hated about this match: the fact that the bells were at ringside.
Why were they ringside? Oh, right, because they're doing Nikki and Ronda at Evolution. Right.
Like, I love that the crowd. This is going to sound mean, but I love that the crowd booed the Bellas out of the building. That made me so happy.
I mean, it's Brooklyn. What do you expect?
I would be sad if they didn't. I would be sad if they didn't.
I mean, this crowd was actually really fun. It didn't get too off the rails when it came to chants, but they also were invested in matches.
Yeah.
As well.
And they even tried to get invested in the Nakamura-Jeff Hardy match when they were exhausted. So, yeah, this was a good crowd.
Because the crowd recognizes when two guys are trying hard, even though they're in a tough spot on the card.
And then you have Philadelphia. So yeah, I really enjoyed the Ronda Rousey Alexa Bliss match. Although Ronda, you don't need to. This wasn't a promo. This was a match. Just like she'll learn. She'll get there eventually. But one thing I will say, I do think it is way too soon to be giving her the belt because this is her fourth match in the company.
You know, I don't mind it only because I'm looking at that from a business perspective. Because Ronda's bringing so many eyes to the product.
That is true.
Bringing in draw rates that none of the women in the division have been able to do up to this point. I'm not saying that she's on the caliber of quality of worker as a lot of the women on the roster, but financially speaking, Ronda Rousey is the draw.
Yeah. But yeah, thumbs up for this.
I understand it.
So far up to this point, the show was kind of like a roller coaster. Like, there was nothing...
Yeah.
Like, there was some really good stuff, and then there was Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, and then it came back up, and it was just weird. But then came the main event.
This is totally flat.
Then we had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar with a Braun Strowman cameo. There was a lot of cameos on the show.
You know, I totally misread the situation because as soon as Braun came out, all the smarts got happy, like, oh my god, they're going to save us from another Reigns Lesnar. Because what I expected was going to happen was that Braun was going to cash in and it became a triple threat match.
But no, he gets the mic and he says, "I'm not a coward, but I am going to wait for this match to be over." And I'm just like, bruh.
What?
Bruh, you're supposed to be a baby face.
I'm just going to be out here looking at you before, instead of waiting for my entrance music to show up later. I'm going to be right out here. I'm going to save myself some time. And then he was made to look like a damn chump because he just got, like, owned. That's why they don't come out, Braun. That's why they stay backstage, so they don't get hurt.
Yeah.
So they can cash in properly. This is logic, man. There's a reason.
Braun Strowman is so stupid. He's such an idiot.
He's booked like an idiot. He's booked like a total idiot.
Like, last month, he lost a match on purpose just because he saw something that looked cool. This month, he just ruined his opportunity at the Universal title for one night. Just Braun. There's a reason why his name is Braun Strowman, not Brain Strowman. But, yeah. But, like, I will say...
I really did enjoy when Brock Lesnar just hugged the briefcase, like, all the way down.
I love Brock. I love this man. I love this man. And the crowd just exploded. Like, it was a weird, I can't believe that just happened. That was hilarious that that happened, and oh my god, did that really just happen? He broke the stage with a briefcase.
It's just, but that was probably the only highlight. The match itself was
I will say, this was the only match on the show where during the entire thing I had no idea what was about to happen. I actually got anxious watching this match. When's the last time you watched a wrestling match in WWE where you did not know what was about to happen?
Takeover.
Well, that's cheating.
That's what you just asked. I'm just saying.
Main roster. When's the last time the main roster you were like, I don't know what's about to happen?
I don't know. Austin Taker, 1999.
20 years ago.
Hogan
Hogan
and Andre.
and Andre.
Hogan and Andre. I didn't know who was going to win. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
But another weird thing. Even though I love this match just because Braun Strowman isn't champion, that's the only reason why. It is so just weird that they had Brock Lesnar as champion for 500+ days. He beat everyone. He beat Roman Reigns over and over again. And the way he loses the title is off a distraction spear. Really?
Oh, and while we're on the subject, what was ever going to happen with that whole Heyman shit?
Yeah, well, he was just out there crying. Just the entire match. It was just weeping.
Lesnar abused Heyman, and then Heyman did the whole fake thing with Reigns. But, like, you still could have had Heyman do something. I don't know. It's just like a big Heyman seemed like that whole thing was just pointless.
Also, the WWE has really trained its audience to know, like, in a main event, you cannot win a match with one finisher. And then the finish, and I get it, that was the 4th spear that Roman hits, like he hit him with 3 earlier in the match. But Braun Strowman, I mean, Brock was just throwing around Brock Strowman 30 seconds ago, and he looked fine. He chucked a briefcase all the way to Canada, and then he just eats a spear and gets pinned. It was very flat.
It's just weird. And then the show ends with Reigns just posing at the end of the night.
They cut away from that so quick. It was sad.
The only reason Reigns got a pop was that they're like, oh, thank God the part-timer isn't champion anymore. They don't really give a crap about Reigns.
And then
Reigns probably came out on the Monday Night Raw over which we're recording this.
Yeah.
And probably got booed out of the building.
Probably. I guarantee you.
I'm gonna make a guess.
That is our guess.
Comments whether that is what happened.
Probably.
I'm not gonna look at it because fuck Raw.
That is true. I just watched a 6-hour-long show. I don't feel like watching a 3-hour one.
Yeah. So, but if you watch it and Reigns got booed out of the building, leave us some comments and you will get probably a like.
But still, like, the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar feud might go down as one of the just poorly done, just pussyfooted feuds ever, because
I still think we're getting a cell match between the two.
I would enjoy that if someone would just win. I would enjoy it.
I would enjoy that too. I think that it would be decisive so long as that. No more shenanigans, no Strowman, no nothing, just Reigns beating Lesnar. Give him like 15 minutes. Just let him work.
Even
if it's
the ultimate,
the 2-minute matches that they have.
The most ultimate blow-away match ever. There'll be 35 F5s. There'll be 16,000 spears. It'll be the greatest match of all time, Sean. Can you see it now?
There will be a spear in the cage. There will be on top of the cage, a spear into an announce table.
Roman Reigns is going to spear Michael Cole.
That I would see. I would watch.
Yeah.
Although Michael Cole now has abs of steel, so that might just knock Reigns out.
Can you? Well, yeah, that is true. Can you imagine if they had Roman versus Brock and like during the match they just destroyed the cage, like they actually gimmicked the cage to like fall apart? That would actually be awesome. If it didn't hurt anybody.
If they could do that without hurting anybody, that'd be something.
I'd be impressed.
That'd be something.
It'd be like in that movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers where they were fighting in that house and the house just fell apart. Just something like that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a stunt. but then like, you'd never be able to use the cell again because how do you top that?
Yeah.
You know, that's one you do for the last Hell in a Cell match ever.
Yeah. Before the apocalypse. Well, that was the Hell in a Cell pre-show, ladies and gentlemen.
All in all, I had fun. It was a fun night.
It was not boring.
Definitely. No, I was very. I was sports entertained. I was very.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this out of 10?
Oh, that's tough. It's hard when you've got some, when a lot of it is just build.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to give it a high. I would say 7, maybe 7.5, because there were some good. I mean, everybody tried hard on this card. You know, there was the matches that needed to be squashes were squashes, and the matches that needed to be lengthy were lengthy. And I think that this is one of the best managed time-wise events that WWE's put on in a very long time.
I'm gonna give it a solid 6 out of 10. Because again,
that's funny because I remember last year you gave it a good 1.5 over what I gave SummerSlam. So the Tables have now turned, sir.
Well, in my opinion, last year was better. Even though I hated the main event last year. But, so yeah, that was...
Oh, yeah.
That was SummerSlam. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Our Skype connection. Skype is awful. We are not sponsored by Skype, nor do we ever want to be sponsored by Skype. But
yes, I love Spike.
I love Spike.
I heart Skype. Get that shit trying.
Please do. All right, that's it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. Good night, everybody.